what do I really want for myself?
Because you brought things to the table that I never thought that I could get out of a relationship.
We keep it real over here.
Yeah. What do you believe the purpose of marriage is? Welcome to Pillow Talk, ladies and gentlemen.
With the
Winstons. Hey. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pillow Talk with the Winstons. We are back for episode 8, and we are live from our backyard. We call this our, this is like
our oasis.
This is our oasis. So this area over here, where all my grills are, that's my man cave, and then over here is the oasis.
That's all me.
Yeah.
This is like my peace.
Yes.
Away from the chaos.
I know.
And yeah, I love being outside. So I was like, hey, let's take it outside today. Today is a nice day. It's nice and sunny. Get some vitamin D.
Yeah, in the sun, the weather. Yeah, it just gives you a lot of peace when you're outside. So
yeah, just a different vibe.
Thank you guys for checking us out this episode 8, as we said. It has been a great journey, pillow talking with you.
It really has.
For these
episode 8, babe.
8 episodes. We never would have thought we would be at episode 8, let alone number 1. So I think this is awesome. God has been good.
Yes. Cheers to that. Episode
to
8, pillow talking. We're still pillow talking.
Still pillow talking. And I think that's the beautiful thing is that, this is actually what we do. So I love it.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for this topic today. Honoring your spouse. There's like so much that can be said about honoring your spouse, and with the events that took place throughout this week, I think this topic is like right on time.
It really is. And if you have not been living under a rock, you know what events we're talking about. We're talking about the Oscars, where there was some things happening between Will Smith and Jada and Chris Rock, unfortunately. And in the context of honor, a lot of people were saying that Will was honoring, and I know we're jumping right into it, but
we're jumping right into it.
We jumping right. So before we get our episode started, we wanted to kind of touch on this.
Give a premise as to, because I think it's a relevant topic.
Yes.
That we're talking about honoring your spouse, and it just kind of goes hand in hand with what just happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, and I was going to say, and so we just wanted to give like a background.
Yeah.
Like a backstory.
Where the honor topic came from. So a lot of people were talking about Will was honoring Jada in this particular situation. We both have our own perspectives about that. But I have a small little clip about what happened in maybe that what was going through Will's mind, and just a perspective, from him.
Yeah,
out of his book.
And you had been reading the book and listening to it on.
Yeah, I've been listening to it on Audible, and
right.
It's crazy because the book opens up with this soundbite.
I watched my father punch my mother in the side of her head so hard that she collapsed. I saw her spit blood. That moment in that bedroom, probably more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am today.
So, just giving context, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but he opened up the chapter 1 talking about fear. He's always been a coward, from his words, quote unquote, and it's because of the things that he's seen his father do to his mom, and he felt like he could never protect her. So I believe what was going through his mind in that moment, I'm not going to justify it. He felt like he was trying to honor and protect her. And I don't agree with that, because I felt like he could have done that on a totally different way, because with the level of access Will Smith has, you can call Rock or Chris at any time and say, hey, man, look, this is how I felt about this situation. And they could have really had a real conversation and it not went that way. Or you could have just did it after the show.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. And that situation could have went so many other ways, especially given the platform
absolutely
that they were on, and just the magnitude of like how that looked for everyone.
The consequences.
Yeah, and the consequences. Like it just took away from so much, and it could have been handled so much better in that situation. I mean, we can't really say what we would have done or would not have done in that situation because we weren't there.
Yeah.
But today, based on that and the events that happened, we are talking about honoring your spouse and what that looks like for us, because I feel like it's very subjective.
It is.
And so different people have different meanings for that, different definitions for that, and it looks different based on the individual and the couple, and even like what you experience in your past.
And sometimes you don't know what honor looks like to your spouse without asking them.
That's true.
Because they'll tell you in so many different ways, but if you feel like you washing dishes is honoring them, or if you feel like you buying her stuff is honoring them, but in her mind she's like, no, that's not honor to me. So you have to like kind of, check in with your spouse and just see what it is that honors her.
Yeah.
So in light of honoring, I want to honor you by saying, welcome to my AKAs. This is my, intro that I introduce my wife every single episode. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Delana Winston, a.k.a. Miss Fit, a.k.a. the love of my life, a.k.a. my soulmate, a.k.a. my swole-mate, a.k.a. my co-host for life and my Pillow Talk partner. Give it up for Delana Winston.
Do you get tired of doing that?
I really don't. Whatever you don't celebrate will exit your life.
And we do this every week in case you tune in and listen to Pillow Talk with the Winstons. Every single episode we introduce our AKA, or also known as.
Yeah.
So our alter egos and our names that we give, our pet names. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my man, my lion, my protector,
yes,
my baby, my husband, Chef Kev. Hey.
Oh, man. I love you.
I love you.
So let's jump into a segment of our episode every week that we like to call Miss Fitz Fact Check.
Okay, so our fact check for today, I just wanted to define, first of all, what Webster Dictionary says is what honor means. So basically, Webster defines honor as high respect, semicolon, esteem.
Okay.
It's next level respect. And as married couples, we are meant to give the highest regard to one another. We show one another honor in the way that we speak to each other, the way that we behave, and the way that we conduct ourselves, both in and out of the home. Wow. I love that so much.
Yeah, because, I
love that so much.
I love the humility portion and the patience. And
well, I just love the part that talks about you hold your partner at a high regard.
Yeah.
So you treat them as your equal, pretty much. Like their opinions, their views, their feelings.
What they like, what
what they dislike.
Yeah.
Should be held at a high regard.
Yeah.
And that's how you should show in your actions. And not just when you're, when it's the two of you, but when people are around. Or not just when people are around, but when it's just, when you're in the four walls of your home as well.
And I want to piggyback off that because I love that part because it also speaks to, there was a small little fact check that I seen as well, and it was called Understanding the Emotions of a Man. And it said an emotionally intelligent husbands are a key to a lasting marriage. Emotionally intelligent husbands are a key to a lasting marriage.
Now that's good right there.
Yeah, because I believe a lot of men are not in touch with their emotional side, and if they are, they're not as emotionally sound.
That's good.
So,
and I think if you just take it back to the clip that you played,
yeah,
for, when Will talked about emotionally, like what he
Felt.
dealt with.
Yeah.
And what he felt like going through the trauma that he experienced, like as a child, seeing his mom get physically abused by his father.
And he said it was several times where he watched her get hit so hard that she would pass out. Mm-hmm. So I don't think a lot of people understand what that does to someone as a young man, being that person that has to defend your mom.
Right. And I feel like a lot of times when we don't heal from that and we don't grow from that, emotionally, you turn into that 9-year-old boy or that 10-year-old boy.
That is true.
So the emotions that you have are of a child and not an adult.
So it's more like acting out. So in that moment, we're not dismissing what happened to Chris Rock, but we are bringing context what possibly Will was going through in that particular time. Mm-hmm. So in honor, I believe that sometimes we mix up the word honor with love, and there is a huge difference between love. The difference between that is love you have a strong affection for someone or something, or to be praised. Mm-hmm. Honor is to think highly, as you said, to respect highly, to show respect for, or to recognize the importance of or spiritual value of that particular thing and or person. Mm-hmm. And there's several scriptures in the Bible about it, because I believe that we get caught up on the version that women are only supposed to honor. But in the Bible, it really talks about a husband. Likewise, husband, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered.
Yeah, and that's good, because even if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, mm-hmm. I feel like that is a good guide to go by. Like, I don't like to get too religious.
Yeah. We're not pastors.
Right.
But
we're not perfect.
No,
we're not perfect people.
No.
We are, everyday people.
We have everyday problems.
We have problems. We have our own issues and faults, but we work towards like loving each other better.
Exactly.
And that's that's part of why we do this podcast.
Yep.
But there's so much to be said about what the Bible says about honor as well.
Yeah. And that was 1 Peter 3:7, in case anyone was familiar or needed to know what that means.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that you can honor someone without loving them?
I do believe you can, because a person could show you that they hold you at a high regard and not even be in love with you, because they could look out for you or think highly of you or put you before their feelings and still not truly love you. Mm-hmm. And I know that's probably hard to believe, but I think it happens in some deteriorating marriages who've been married for years, and some people who just aren't equally yoked, or I think it happens every day. And I think some people may still get honor and get love, or they still get love and no honor.
Yeah, I definitely believe that you can love someone, but then you don't honor them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Because
there are a lot of situations where people, like, you don't hold that person at a high regard. If you're disrespectful to your spouse or partner, if you call them out their name, if you, do things that are just like, you definitely don't honor me. Yeah.
If you, I'm not, trying to make a label of you are this type of person if you do this, but there goes a lot. It's a lot that goes into when you are honoring your partner, and when you do things that are out of character that you can't come back from, or that you might come back from. But one thing that I've learned is people are it's easy for people to forgive, but it's not as easy for people to forget.
That's true. That's big.
Because you could forgive and be like, hey, I'll take you back. Mm-hmm. Hey, that happened. I'm willing to move past it. But that memory and that imprint will always be a wound.
It will. Yeah, absolutely.
So we try not to even get to that point.
Exactly. And that is the importance of being emotionally intelligent.
True. Yep.
Because when you're emotionally intelligent, like in those moments, you're going to stop yourself and say,
I'm not going to do this.
yeah, because what are the consequences? Like if I act out,
Yeah. Yep.
if I misbehave, or if I get stuck in this feeling and then I react and I disrespect you, then I'm not honoring you, because I'm not conducting myself in a way
Yeah.
that shows you as high regard to me.
Yeah. You're putting how you feel in the moment, whether it's dysfunctionally emotional feelings or whether it's just a reaction, versus how that person should be held to a higher regard. So
Absolutely.
I believe we talked about, if you're listening to this episode, we're talking about honoring your spouse. And I believe the first thing we discussed was talking about what does it mean to honor your spouse. And, we kind of shared our personal experiences, our personal definitions. And one of the things I like to try to do is I try to practice what it looks like when I'm honoring my spouse on a, not going to say a daily, but at least once or twice a week, I try to take time and listen. Because in order to be an active listener, you have to, go past hearing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You could hear, but listening is participating.
And there is a difference.
And it's a huge difference. Because
And
I could hear you say, babe, I don't like when you leave your sock on the couch.
Which I never say.
Which you never say.
It's a
'cause
terrible example.
we both leave our socks on the couch.
Yeah,
But-
I never say that.
But, I mean, that's an example of I heard you. But active listening is, babe, I think I heard you say you don't like when I leave my socks on the couch because, you want to be able to keep it clean for XYZ reason. That's just an example.
Yeah.
But that's active listening because you're participating.
Yeah, and I think for women that's big, and that's a big part of what we feel is our husband honoring us, because not only hearing what we say,
Yeah.
but also actively listening.
Absolutely.
So you're participating, like you're just like, all right, noted.
Yep.
All right, noted. I know this bothers you. I'm going to honor you. I'm going to hold you at a high regard. So I am going to do the things that, you ask.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing you, but I'm also listening.
And just listening to you just in that moment, the other definition of hearing is not thinking about what your response is going to be. It's allowing, letting that person, your partner, finish speaking what it is that they want to say, giving you their opinion, whatever it is that they want to get out first, not thinking about what you want to say.
What your response is going to be.
Because that's not active listening. That's just hearing. And you're just waiting for them to finish so you can hurry up and say, but another thing, and that's it. And that is what creates dishonor.
Yeah.
So just listening to what you said, I understand that you also have to read the room, know your spouse, know what ticks, know what their triggers are. If you don't have I don't have a spouse. My wife is not an emotional person. She's emotionally intelligent. So there's a huge difference. When someone's emotional, they're not always aware of how their emotions are coming off. She's very aware. So that's the reason why she doesn't take it to the level of being emotional, i.e., as some men say who are married, a nagger, or I want you to do this, or I can't stand when you. She just will tell you direct. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And when they add this little small piece at the end, and I would appreciate if you would at least do this. That's direct.
That's very direct.
But it's very subtle, but it's very much like there's no gray area.
No. And for me, I feel like it just does not take all that. It doesn't take all the yelling, the nagging, the going off.
No.
For me.
Yeah.
And I feel like at a certain point, I mean, self-awareness is very important, but I feel like at a certain point, like, it becomes dysfunctional when you feel like every time you need to get your point across, you need to yell. And
That
you
is
need to
true.
raise your voice.
That is so true.
And you need to get aggressive.
Yeah,
Like, all that is not necessary.
true.
And so for a lot of women, I think self-awareness, because women need to recognize like the power that we have
True.
sometimes, and just influence. We have so much influence over our partners and our spouses and our husband that you don't need to yell, and you can literally like get your point across
What's the saying
and
that you
say it
always
with
say?
with an assertive voice.
You can get something.
You can
with,
get
you can-
more bees with honey than you can with and it's the truth.
I love it. In the
You can.
in the is the stuff that you do that you believe is functionally. It's like a functioning alcoholic continuing to drink.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that they're drunk. They just keep drinking. So you don't know that you're nagging because that's all you know.
Right.
Until someone points it out, and that's what the honey is. Women have the honey.
We got the honey, y'all.
Y'all got the honey?
You got to use the honey. Stop using the
You'll be giving yummy, yummy, yum.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we really do. And I think also, we have to be very careful with how we use
Yeah.
our influence, and, what the influence that we have over our men.
That's so good.
Okay. Because
That
I
is
feel
so
like
good.
in that situation alone, because if you really think about it and if you really looked at what happened,
The
like-
influence was pushed from Jada
it was.
to Will. It
It
started
was.
off with a smile
And
and
it ended up with a,
a eye roll, and he took that eye roll and was like, "Oh, hold
no.
on, babe. No,
oh,
no.
no.
I'm not
Now
gonna
I have
let
to
that-
be your protector.
I am not going to be a coward. I will not be a mean."
Yes.
And now, unfortunately, Will, I'm sorry, you are the mean that you didn't want to be.
Right.
The one thing you didn't want to become, you became, and it looks a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I think of honor, as men, you have to protect your spouse, but also as women, you have to protect your man and his peace.
True. That's true.
Okay.
Don't influence him to, or what's the word we're looking for? Don't entice him to do something that could be detrimental, not just to him, but
to you and to your family. Again, it goes back to, with honor, the way we behave and the way that we conduct ourselves in and out of our homes.
That is.
So when I think of that, you know what I think of? A lot of us love pit bulls.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but we love pit bulls, especially because they are like vicious protectors.
True.
And that's why they have to be trained, right?
That is true.
So with a pit bull, like as an owner, you're not going to like sick your pit bull on every person or thing that you think is a threat or that tries you, are you?
No.
As an owner? Because you have a responsibility
And there's consequences.
and there's consequences.
Yeah.
So if your dog goes off just like biting everybody that comes by, like rides by your house or that they think is a threat, guess what? They're going to put that dog down, or you're going to be paying for someone's hospital bills
Or funeral.
or that.
I mean, let's just
You might
be
even
real.
go to jail.
Hey, it happens every day.
So with that being said, as women, like we have to like look at that in the same light.
That's true.
Like you cannot.
That's probably ace.
Yeah, so you really can't like expect your man to, for every situation, like every threat.
Yeah, and more importantly, I don't want to disrespect this man's wife, but most importantly, not for someone who has already shown you that they don't honor you. Honestly, I'm not going to step up and defend something or someone when I know you have dishonored me in front of the entire world. But that's a whole nother subject.
That is a
and
whole- that's a whole
nother
different thing.
conversation.
It is.
So we're not going to speak on that on their marriage, but
We're
we're going to
not.
continue to talk about. So what happens
too.
when you don't feel honored by your spouse? Because we talked about what does it look like to honor your spouse, and I think you gave an example,
Yeah.
and I think I gave an example.
We didn't talk a whole lot about like how do we
How do we do?
feel
it
like
currently?
we honor each other.
Okay, so I'll tell
Like,
you how I feel honored.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love is that my wife makes a conscious effort to give me. I am a words of affirmation person, so she makes a conscious effort when she notices that I am doing a lot and I'm feeling a little stress in one area. She makes a conscious effort to let me know, hey, babe, I really appreciate you. And I thank you for always making sure everybody else is okay. Oh, my God. No, just thank you. You thought
What was that?
you thought I was about to cry. Now I was playing.
No. You don't
No,
cry like
seriously.
that.
No, but you try to you make me feel like, in that moment, because I need sometimes when I'm like really working hard and I'm doing a lot and I'm trying to like juggle a lot, family, cooking, there's a million hats I wear. I just want to hear at some point like, we appreciate you. Mm-hmm. So she will take a moment to speak on behalf of the family because our kids are so damn spoiled. And she will say, baby, I appreciate you, and I just want to let you know that we value you, and So
Yeah,
I think
because
that
sometimes,
that matters.
Yeah, it does. And sometimes you guys need that validation.
Yep.
And that encouragement and that reassurance, and that's important.
Yes, it is.
So,
it really is.
Yeah. I love doing that for you.
No, so that's how I think I know that you honor me and that I feel honored. So yeah.
Okay. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that.
Absolutely.
For me, like, where do I even start? Because I feel like it's so much. And you know what the funny thing about it is? My mom has told me, she's just like, you know what? I just love the way that Kevin, he shows like what is important to you is important to him. Yeah. So I feel like just a little, you may think it's little, but it's big for me. And I think you do it so well and with such good intentions, like being intentional about it. Things like, you do a lot of the cooking. You do a lot of just the things that I enjoy doing. You go to cycle with me. Yeah. And y'all, I can count on my hands the number of men
if you have not gone
that go to cycle.
If you have not gone to cycling, there is a level of release, freedom,
liberation,
and just liberation that you get when you go to cycling.
And it's lit.
Yeah, because there's a point in the class where there's like, oh my God, we're reaching like this last 5 minutes, and there's like 2 pushes, and it's like you got to put your all, and you look to your left and you look to your right. And you might be tired, but you looking at this person and she starts going fast. So then you be like, I'm going to go faster too. And you're like, and then we get to this moment and it's like climax.
It really is. It really is.
For some reason, it's something that happens in that moment that's like, wow. So shout out to Jamal Sanderson over at Lifetime Fitness for doing your all to make your class not just a regular class, but something that people can take from. We appreciate you. We give you your flowers, my brother.
Thank you, Jamal. It's so inspiring. Absolutely. I mean, not only are you burning calories and sweating your ass off,
but you getting freedom.
But you are literally like feeling like you can conquer the world when you leave that class.
Absolutely.
So it's been amazing, and it's just so wonderful for us to be able to challenge each other.
Yes.
And push each other, and that is one of the things that I feel like you honor me as well by, like, knowing the potential that I have.
No, I know.
Knowing the potential and just like pushing me to be better. And so, yes, I love that.
I enjoy doing that because, and I didn't want to interrupt, the things that you were going to say in terms of, how I honor you. But I do enjoy doing cycling. I do enjoy doing the things that you like. Because ultimately we both love traveling, but sometimes you just want to be like, hey babe, I just want to do some yoga, or I just want to whatever, sushi, or listen, I have not eaten more sushi in my life than I have with this woman. Sushi is almost like, if there's a craving that we can't figure out what we want, sushi is it.
It's the go-to.
And every time it's like, oh my God.
But every time you love it too.
I know, so. I love it. I'm like, now sushi is like my favorite food. I'm like, what the heck? I would never eat raw fish, but now I love it. So.
But thank you for the way that you honor me, like doing the things that I enjoy. showing just appreciation, listening to my voice, like not just hearing me, but actively participating and listening to the things that matter to me.
Yeah, because you have a light voice and a soft voice, but it's definitely not disregarded or it's not overlooked. You know,
Yeah,
they say
and I
you're-
appreciate that.
No,
Because I feel like that also was a challenge, or sometimes it is a challenge for that, for that we've experienced and that
Yeah.
I've personally, just because my voice is soft and I don't raise my voice, that doesn't mean that I don't mean what I say.
or that you don't have a voice.
Or that I don't have a voice.
Yeah.
And I can be loud
Yeah.
and I can be nagging,
She can.
but I don't like to be.
You're not nagging, but you can be loud. When you need to, you let it be known. Yeah.
I meant what I said.
What you said. And when you say it in that way, listen, fellas, I get, and when you know you in the Army, you stand at attention. Listen, I feel like I just am like, okay, I really hear you now.
Yeah.
So it
And
shouldn't
to
have
be
to get
quite
to that,
honest,
though.
like I grew up in a household where I felt like it was, it was a little nagging going on. Not trying to call nobody out.
Hey, it is
But
what it
there
is.
was like nagging, and I just, it's always kind of stuck in my mind, and I was just like, I never
I don't
want to
wanna
be
do
that.
that.
Yeah, I never want to do that. I
And that's so
never want to
funny.
do that to my husband. I would never want to put my husband down. I never want to belittle him. Like no matter what.
Wow.
Like I don't want him to feel that way.
I love that.
So I think it's just a different emotional intelligence
Yes.
that I've learned to have and, to grow in that
Self-awareness.
area, and the self-awareness.
And you had love in your home. You had a lot of love.
Yeah, I had a lot of love for sure, but there was also like dysfunction too.
Yeah. In a different way. Absolutely.
Yeah, in a different way.
I feel like that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's a totally
Childhood imprints. Oh my God. We had to have a therapist for that episode.
different. We would.
That would just open up so many doors. But it's
Yes.
true. We are an extension of who we have come from.
We are.
Like,
And I think you learn from that,
yeah, we do.
or you repeat it.
Or you repeat it. Wow.
So,
Hence why I have begun therapy, and it has been amazing. Because she asked me questions about, like, before you make a certain response, I want you to ask yourself, are you your father or are you Kevin?
wow.
And when I ask myself that question, it makes me slow down and be like, okay, boom. So, honor.
Honor.
So what happens when you don't feel honored? Oh, my goodness. What happens when we don't feel honored by our spouse? You resort to a behavior as a man that we like to call so many different acronyms and so many different big words, but let's just call it what it is. Anger in childhood behavior. Because when men get upset or when men feel dishonored, or the word that I use a lot or misuse, disrespect.
Oh, Lord.
And it's like, it could be
Where's the-
anything.
Wrong
You
way.
gave the
I need
hold on.
this one.
I gotta tell you which one
I
it
need
is,
this
man.
one.
Is this what you want, the horn?
Yes. Wait a minute. Say it again. Say it again.
All right. So
Say it again.
the word I like to use a lot, that is called disrespect.
And that is a word that I feel is misused and it's
'Cause I'll
taken out
say-
of context.
So I'll say it like, so she'll be like, so I'll be like, babe, so I was trying to sleep until 8:30, and she'll be like, well, I have to get up at 7. I mean, just using this as example. Or no, I'll give a
Give
more,
a real example.
Give a real example.
That's not a real example.
Here go. All right, here we go. I'm brushing my teeth. She's brushing her teeth, and because she's brushing her teeth, I reach over and get the toothpaste. And her response is,
Did you have to reach over me and
Yeah.
get that? Couldn't you have just asked me to give it to you?
so I'm sitting here thinking like, are we at a dinner table?
It's rude.
It's rude.
It's rude to be like, I'm like, I could have just
She's
got
like,
that for you.
I'm like, babe, you are so into your teeth. I just didn't want to interrupt
Excuse me, my mouth has nothing to do with my hand. I can do both.
Okay.
Just saying.
So as I done that, in her response, I took that as disrespect. I was like, well, okay, whatever.
So you thought it was disrespectful that I checked you and said,
Yeah.
You could have just asked me to get it because I could have gave it to you instead of reaching over me.
Yeah, because it was sassy.
And
But
my thing
in your
is,
mind, it was direct.
My thing is, I didn't yell my voice.
Yep.
I didn't cuss you out.
True.
I was direct,
Very.
but you just didn't like it.
There it is. So, fellas, let me just be real. Sometimes I perceive disrespect. No, I'm sorry. I perceive assertiveness as just straight up like I just don't like it. Because in some situations, I don't like assertiveness. Every time she does that, I'm going to give her some peace.
Yo.
So I remember watching there was Nedra Tuwap was on Instagram, and she was talking about, how people use assertiveness as a weapon. And then she says, just because you said you were assertive doesn't mean it was nice. Yeah. So sometimes assertiveness can be perceived as just not nice, and then it comes off. So I think the reason why we came to this point, I was just discussing, men react with anger when they don't feel honored.
Yes.
And we react with not feeling respected, and that's due to the lack of emotional intelligence that we have. So we go to words that are extremely convenient, like respect, because when it comes to men, we automatically use that as our weapon. You're going to respect me. And women are like, well, wait a minute. You didn't respect me or honor me in this situation. But, whatever. So I think at the end of the day, the reaction of how men take not being honored, we use anger. And right. I think that is like that's what it looks like.
It does.
What does it look like when a woman doesn't feel honored?
So for a woman, I think we feel like our voice isn't being heard. Definitely. Yeah, we feel like our voice is not being heard, and you're not actively listening. So now we have to have a conversation.
Wow. Yeah.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
And y'all don't like those words. Those 3 words. Can we talk?
Ooh. Yeah,
we need to have a sit down.
It's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. So yeah, I think for women, like, we don't feel like you're equal when we feel dishonored. We feel like, beneath you, belittled, not respected.
Yeah.
Not honored. So, and I think I talked about the biggest challenge for me is the fact that because I don't raise my voice and I don't get loud and my voice is gentle, that sometimes I don't feel respected. And so we've kind of been working on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making sure. And that's why communication is important too.
Yeah. Being more intentional about, knowing what makes your partner tick or what makes your partner, you got to know what affects them.
Yeah.
So
you do.
I think that's the number one thing that, us as men, we have to like slow it down and make sure we use patience.
Yeah.
So,
and I think even for women, like showing patience when you guys are angry.
Yeah.
Being gentle, being patient, like calming you, getting you to come down from that, or giving you space to come down and not just like, not nagging and going at you.
That's true.
Which is going to make the situation worse.
Yeah. And I think we both have a way of kind of like, we understand what makes our partners tick, but I think at the end of the day, we don't always recognize that in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think it becomes something that's missing. So if you're just tuning in, or if you've been listening to this point, we have been talking about honor as it pertains to marriage, but we've also been talking about honor in a relationship, or what happens when you don't feel honored by your spouse. And we also been talking about what does it look like when you honor your spouse, and most importantly, what does it mean
when you don't feel honored?
Yeah. And what does it mean when you honor your spouse? So those are the things that we wanted to really touch on. And we also touched on the whole thing with, Will Smith and Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett. But we're not going to beat a dead horse, We're
really not. The bottom line is honor your spouse.
Yeah. That's
respect
the bottom
them.
line.
Be loyal.
And we're at the point of our episode where we'd like to discuss or, leave you guys with something. And that particular thing that we like to leave you with is what we call a winspiration. And what we want to leave you with today is, in honoring your spouse, you want to find the most important things that we like to call I call it the Trinity of honor.
That's
Trinity, love,
that's
respect, and honor. And it goes a little something like this. So we talk about be a man of God. These are ways that you can show your wife how you honor her. Respect her opinion. Share your heart with her. Ask her about hers. Use words wisely and speak highly and kindly of her. And most important, remember the special days and do not treat her as a servant.
That's good.
She
That's good
is
stuff.
your equal. She is not your servant.
She is not your servant.
Hey,
Period.
if more men just looked at that alone, I think we would be in a better place.
Yes, we would.
So,
That's good. And I don't know if you just pick those because you do them, but I feel like you're very intentional and you do all those things.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I
And I'm
definitely feel
intentional about
honored by that. So for the ladies, let me just tell you some ways that you can honor your husband. Steer clear of words that tear him down. Pick up something that shows you're thinking of him. Do something generous. Verbalize your gratitude or praise sincerely and specifically. In conflict, stay away from character assassination. Keep your voice even when he's asking for something unrealistic. That's a good one right there.
Ooh, even.
Just keep it even.
That means what
Don't
is that?
raise it.
Don't raise it. Okay.
You're like, okay, baby. So I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
And best of all, ask for what you need.
I love it. So if you've been watching this episode, we appreciate you guys just kind of like tapping in with us. We talked about the honoring your spouse and just understanding each other and just making sure that you are in tune. So
That's good.
this is episode 8.
Episode 8. Honoring your spouse.
Honoring your spouse. So I mean, I don't have anything else
No.
unless you do.
I think that's it. So if you guys are on Instagram, you can follow us, connect with us on All We Do Is Winston. Also, our YouTube channel, All We Do Is Winston. Let us comment, share. If you feel like someone needs to hear this message, be sure to share it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Thank you for listening.
What do I really want for myself?
Because you brought things to the table that I never thought that I could get out of a relationship.
We keep it real over
Yeah.
here.
What do you believe the purpose of marriage is? Welcome to Pillow Talk, ladies and gentlemen.
With the
Winstons. Hey. Hey guys, it's Kev
And Delana.
with Pillow Talk with the Winstons.
So guys, we just wanted to take a moment to personally thank each and every person that has reached out to us, that has supported us, that has liked our page,
Yes.
that has sent messages saying how much this podcast has impacted them. So thank you from us
guys.
both.
Thank you. So we just want to make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that is such a great way to say thank you, and we appreciate your support. So if you support us,
so much for your support, you guys.
Absolutely.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us if you want to connect with us. We're on Instagram at All We Do Is Winston.
yes, indeed.
And yeah, let us know if there's any topics that you guys want to hear. Shoot us a message. Let us know.
And we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.